Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the OTT.X Webinar series, where we bring you thought-provoking insights from industry-leading executives, experts, and innovators from all sectors of the OTT, CTV, and streaming space. My name is Jose Rodriguez. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today, we are very excited to be joined by SymphonyAI's Cory Cofran and Darren Lepke for an informative exploration of how DataOps is empowering media businesses to develop purpose-built AI applications that streamline data operations, improve content performance, and increase licensing revenue. We will take a look beyond the analytics and uncover how to build intelligent, low-code DataOps applications with AI that deliver real business results. If you have any questions during the presentation, we encourage you to please submit them in the Q&A bin, and time permitting, we will get to them at the end of the presentation. Cory and Darren, thank you so much for joining us today. We're very excited for this session. I'll let you guys take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Jose. Welcome, everybody, to this OTT.X webinar today. Cory and I from SymphonyAI are super excited to share some updates on what's happening, share some insights into what we're seeing in the industry, and to talk a little bit about some recent advancements in our platform that we announced at NAB and are seeing some great results with in the market today. So appreciate everybody in attendance taking the time to learn more about us. On the next slide, Cory, I probably would benefit everybody just to give a quick overview of SymphonyAI. We're a leading enterprise AI company. We were founded in 2017, based in Palo Alto, California. And we have surprisingly 2,400 employees across 30 countries. So it's a kind of a powerful company of a pretty decent size that maybe a lot of people haven't heard of. We are privately held pre-IPO, backed by a $1 billion AI fund. So well funded and making great traction in the market. Really, our job is to, or our mission, I would say, is to be the leading enterprise SaaS company in the world, and really focused on using AI technology to solve business issues, create operational efficiencies, and drive revenue growth. Pretty basic stuff. In general, we have 5 media divisions: retail, financial services, manufacturing are core parts of the business. We also have the media team that we work with today, right? And really, it's about building SaaS data and AI solutions that give media and entertainment companies greater insight about the performance of their content. And we offer software ultimately to help manage content revenue and royalties. Some big names here across the board, but today SymphonyAI is already working with a lot of the leading providers in the market to deliver impact and value. If you go to the next slide, let's dive in a little bit into what it is we bring to the market when we talk about AI. At the core of what we do is the Eureka Gen AI platform. That's a well built out, heavily invested piece of core technology that is available to all the groups within SymphonyAI, and really consists of 4 key layers. At the bottom, we have the intelligent data layer, which is really about how do we aggregate and collect data in one place from disparate sources. The next layer up is our predictive AI layer. That's really about driving insights and potential future outcomes using tools like machine learning, and built in a way that's very easily deployable and easily extensible. The next layer up is our generative AI layer. So this is more about LLMs. This is more about co-pilots that help extract insights from the data and visualize them very quickly. And then the very top layer is our UX framework. So once you have all that data, once you've gathered all the insights, how do you get it out? How do you present it? How do you make it available to internal and external stakeholders so that those insights can be shared easily without a huge investment? So really best of breed horizontal platform, providing real scale for handling huge problems, and primarily developed by our internal team of data scientists and developers. So a lot of core IP here that we have. What we do then from for each one of these divisions, we take that core framework and extend it and customize it for specific industry problems. This is really, what I think is our key differentiator when you compare it to other solutions in the market. For each layer in the stack we just described, we, the media team, and our internal developers, data scientists, and experts really take that core platform and extend it specifically for media, right? So, at the intelligent data layer, we really have, taken time and investment to make a better understanding of what the media industry specific data entails. We've built knowledge graphs into our LLMs that help you understand what a content catalog is and how each one of the components, whether it's a TV series or an episode, whether it's a product bundle and a product versus a piece of content or an asset, like all of these kind of intelligent data enhancements we made for the media industry really helps deliver insights very quickly. On the ML platform side, we've built predictive models that look at common media industry problems and help make predictions very, very quickly, right? Same thing with generative AI, building copilots and other tooling to make understanding of data better, and on the UX framework as well, creating dashboards and widgets that pull stuff out. So really, having this industry tailored solution fits a sweet spot between two real problems or two real approaches we see in the market, right? We see a lot of customers who are making the decision of, should I build this all myself? Should I buy it from a hyperscaler partner? And coming from the industry, working at large studios, like there's a lot of motivation to build from scratch. Often, everybody wants to build it themselves. It's a heavy upfront investment, a long time to return on investment. You have to scale the platform for big problems. That's painful. On the flip side of that, you have hyperscalers, other cloud providers who have the scale, but they kind of throw a kit of parts at you and leave it to you and your teams to kind of assemble them into a solution that makes sense for your insights and your industry. And so with Revidia and our specific implementation of the Eureka Gen AI platform, you really get tools that are tailored for your industry, things that will support your use cases out of the box, but also give you the scale of a proven hyperscaler provider. On the next slide, Cory, we really starting recently at NAB. We're looking at our Revidia platform in a bit of a new light. We've always been known for our content suite. We recently adopted and launched our DataOps suite, which is kind of solving two major problems in the industry for data engineers, for data analysts, financial and accounting teams, marketing teams. There's a lot of different buyers that we talk to, but we're really solving two problems, right? Problem one is that data is scattered all over the world. It's provided in different formats. It's hard to understand. And when I say data, I mean revenue data from partners. So if you're a movie studio who licenses their content to platforms like Apple or Samsung, that data comes back to you in various formats and levels of detail. You have content data scattered in various CMSs. You have marketing information over in your social media account. You have costs in your ERP systems. Revidia Content Suite really helps bring all of that data together with tools for automated data collection, powerful tools for normalization like AI-powered title matching, and then very powerful kind of accounting tool sets to help reconcile some of your revenue data, your performance reports and your partner payments to ensure that your profits are where they should be, like making sure that you're getting compensated fairly for the content that you're licensing. So that's problem one, getting the data together, getting it normalized. That's what Content Suite does. DataOps Suite solves a slightly different problem. Maybe you have all your data, it's maybe in one place and maybe normalized or centralized, but extracting understanding or meaning from that data is difficult. You have to hire a team of data scientists. You have to build predictive models. You need a visualization engine that makes the insights obvious for executives who maybe don't speak in the language of statistics. Right? That's really where Revidia DataOps Suite comes in. It's a brand new tool. its job is really to bring together an array of tools and technical that technical and non-technical users can access to create data products and help you understand what happened in your business, why it happened, and what's going to happen next. So let's dive in a little bit more on these two platforms. When we talk about Content Suite, data normalization, all the tools to collect data, it is for digital customers, right? And that spans both FAST, AVOD, TVOD, SVOD models. All of those are supported within our digital tool today. It also tackles traditional linear television businesses, right? So we can help manage subscribers and the agreements that take place between cable companies and broadcasters. So Content Suite really has a broad array of customer approaches. And then the DataOps suite that we talked about, brings together, up-to-date, cutting-edge AI solutions like foundational AI models, industry-specific knowledge graphs, data connectors to well-known and well-established data providers within the media industry, and other very domain-specific LLMs that help get you to that insight and return on investment faster. So that's really the core media platform. In addition to that, if you need some more help, if you don't want to do it all yourselves, we do have a pretty robust services offering as well, which will help you get onboarded to our platform. It will run your business for you. So if you need help collecting all the data from those disparate sources, if you need help getting it organized, we have a managed services team. And then we also have a separate business. So it's probably a discussion for another day, but we do have a very robust audit services business that helps again make sure that there's no revenue leakage between content owners and their distributor partners. So ultimately, pretty powerful package that we bring to the market for many of our customers. Customers like on the next slide, a pretty large media company. This is a very traditional kind of Content Suite customer. They have 29 different properties that they are creating and licensing content for, across 40 FAST channels and 20 million subscriber linear TV network. So pretty large company, pretty diverse array of content distribution offerings. Pretty large content catalog, 30,000 assets. And ultimately, what we do with the Content Suite is to bring all of that data into one place across different business models, both ad-supported and subscriber-based, and normalize the metadata, provide monthly analysis and accounting insights, and ultimately, delivers great, a single source of truth for a lot of the revenue for this business. On the DataOps side, on the next slide, we recently announced at NAB our first deployment of DataOps Suite with Cineverse, which is they allow you to watch anime, horror, comedy, true crime, a lot of different genres for free on the internet and other platforms. 150 million unique users every month, 4 billion minutes of content streamed, and ultimately we're helping them bring all of that data together and provide a deeper understanding of what's happening and what content's performing well and what's going to perform well next month with some of their content. So for us, it's really about not necessarily wrangling the data as much. They have a pretty sophisticated data platform that we're able to plug into. But at the end of the day, we help them, deliver insights and understand what's happening very quickly. So that's really the value of the DataOps suite. For Content Suite and DataOps, they're not mutually dependent on each other. You can have one without the other. You can use this just for the Content Suite to help get your data normalized. You can use, if you have normalized data, you can use DataOps Suite by itself. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's kind of a better together solution. So you can use both. As one single kind of clearinghouse for all of your data insights and needs. So that's a pretty quick 15-minute overview of who we are, and what we do. I think we're really excited about the DataOps Suite and the opportunities that it brings to the market and some of the insights that we're providing. So I think Cory is going to take it from here and give you a little more detail on how it's used and what it does, and maybe even a quick demo of its capabilities.
Great. Thank you, Darren. Hello, everybody. My name is Cory Cofran, Senior Sales Engineer, SymphonyAI Media. Happy to talk to you all today. This is our latest sort of passion project that we've had at SymphonyAI's media division. We're very proud of the work that we're doing with Cineverse, and I wanted to just give you kind of a preview of our approach with DataOps Suite, our approach to creating those data products via data models, advanced data models, generative AI, predictive AI, and being able to give you unparalleled access to all of the different insights, predictions, forecasting that you could possibly think of throughout your media organization. Let me go through there. There we go. So just to kind of bring it back around to the Eureka Gen AI platform, what I really like to talk about with DataOps Suite is really the personification of SymphonyAI's mission, which is to bring a common platform or a common AI platform to various different verticals. So with media, no matter what, we're bringing state-of-the-art data infrastructure, state-of-the-art ML infrastructure, generative AI skills and agent frameworks, and bringing it all together into that common UI and UX framework, right? So in the demo today, I'm going to be taking you through our approach to applying AI and governing all of the data with that AI, right? So we can use data set, we can predict AI models programmatically, for example. So we'll get to that towards the end of the conversation, but I just wanted to bring it back around to like what we're really talking about today, which is this core AI platform and this core environment that's going to enable any organization, but specifically media, to a lot of different things. So the foundation of the Revidia DataOps Suite really is just like Darren said, we're bringing in multiple different data sources. Now we have on the left-hand side some examples of those data sources, some of those common data sources that we have in media today. So whether it's ad and marketing data, ERP revenue data, CRM and sales data, content managed data, distribution data, and even social and even third party, any sort of data source you can possibly think of, and we'll go into greater detail later, we can feed into Revidia DataOps via direct data ingestion, but then also via API, REST API, Kafka data streams, what have you. We can connect to it. We also offer, well, right today with DataOps, we have thousands of pre-built data connectors. I think the last count was over 2,000. But if we do not work with a data source today, we can certainly link up to it easily with a lot of those methods I just mentioned. What we are enabling for your organization is we are presenting purpose-built AI tool sets to solve some of these common pain points or some of these common use case categories in the industry today, right? So by utilizing your insights and analytics tool sets and DataOps, by utilizing the predictive asset intelligence, and then being able to get a granular level understanding of your data via Data Explorer and Workflow Intelligence, you can then start figuring out how to create those data products to solve these use cases, right? So whether it's viewership insights, content performance, platform comparison, promotional effectiveness, on the marketing side, identifying bottlenecks, both from a engagement, revenue, and even technical perspective. Maybe there's some integrations that are faulting, revenue optimization, obviously, and then also predictive analysis. What we always talk about is, when we're talking about insights, we're looking at how things are operating either today or in the past. When we're talking about predictive asset intelligence and predictive analysis and using generative AI, we can look far, far into the future and start gaining a lot more of a holistic understanding of your data instead of having to swivel chair between various different systems and trying to get an overall understanding in maybe like an Excel file, for example. So that's our value here, is we're bringing all of these data sources together, enabling your teams of data scientists, data analysts to create these data models in partnership with us at SymphonyAI, right? So you're not, just like Darren said, you're not giving a whole bunch of tool sets and then, off to the races. we're media experts. We're going to be training the LLMs if that is required. We're going to be setting up the models in a way that makes sense via an asset hierarchy and a unified namespace, because nobody but media experts knows media, right? And that's how we are really focusing this platform. And then, by the way, I just want to make sure that if there is any questions throughout this, kind of overview and demonstrations, please feel free to contribute to the Q&A. We'll be happy to answer those towards the end of this session. So just kind of taking another step back from those use cases I mentioned, we wanted to kind of compile some examples of those, right? Because there's many different people in the room today. I want to make sure that we touch on any sort of persona and make sure that it resonates with you all. So whether you are more on the marketing side, maybe you're more on the content performance side, maybe you're more on the sales side, looking at revenue optimization, looking at, paid versus non-paid advertising. Maybe you're looking at programmatic versus direct sales. Maybe you're looking at how to optimize for a channel takeover. There's a lot of different ways that you can use DataOps. This is just a very small sample. And in fact, these use cases represent some of the use cases we're currently solving in the market today. And now let's get into the exciting stuff, right? So when we're talking about Revidia DataOps Suite, I always like to talk about it more than just a sandbox. I always refer to it as an intelligent media insight environment at scale, right? So what we are doing is we are providing that intelligent environment based off of the hierarchical data that we provided via those data sources, creating that unified namespace. And then from there, we can scale it in any single any direction we can really think of. Very flexible. And then our approach to Revidia DataOps and really the kind of meat and potatoes of the platform known as functional architecture, I want to bring your attention to the bottom of the screen here because, again, this is kind of a different version of that slide you saw before, but in a way that's more focused on the platform itself and how we're bringing it all together, right? Because we're normalizing, or we have that normalized customer data. We have, what we refer to as enterprise data, operational data, engagement data. I gave you some examples previously, but CRM marketing, CRMs, marketing catalogs, distribution partnership agreements, revenue, engagement, ad server data. We're going to go through some examples of maybe some ad revenue in this demonstration. We're bringing it into the platform via our data connectors. Like I said, we have over 2,000 pre-built, but we can easily set that up for you today. And then we can transform that data in various different ways. We can add contextualization. We're basically massaging that data in a way that makes sense for your organization to create what we're referring to as an enriched media data lake. Once we have that data lake, we can then apply the knowledge graphs, right? This is something that Darren mentioned. We're talking about knowledge graphs when it comes to understanding the data and how you can optimize your assets potentially, or content or revenue. But then you're also talking about knowledge graphs when it comes to specific KPIs, and you can set different thresholds and health scores that are tied to those KPIs. And that's the bedrock of this platform. From there, it just gets even better when you're adding on foundational AI models, those specific domain-specific LLMs, so very much focused on your business in media. And then we have ML Ops when we can actually enable your own AI tool sets that we'll get into a little bit. But at the end of the day, I just want to bring it back to what we're providing, our deep media insights, predictive asset intelligence via a collaborative workspace, and we can enable you to create those smart applications or data products in a very, very organic way. And we can also have AI help you create those data products, right? And then I'd be remiss to not mention the fact that over the top of everything, we have a generative AI copilot. You can interact with it via text, ask it very different questions, and it will pull from that data lake and get you the answers you need in a very quick way. And then finally, before I dive into the live demonstration, I just wanted to give you a sense of, again, we're kind of going granular and granular here, of how we are approaching data, right? Now, you'll see on the left-hand side here, when we're talking about, I showed you those 5 categories, we can go even deeper into, what sort of data sources we can support. So maybe it's transactions, maybe it's production finance, maybe it's scheduling, right? Ad inventory, you name it, we can ingest it all. But then I really want to bring your attention to the center part of this screen, because that's going to be the nature of what I'm showing you through this demonstration, right? Because when you're ingesting that data, it has to go through a data orchestration phase, and I'll walk you through, our approach to data ingest, how we have all those data connectors laid out. We have the data contextualization phase, where we are creating that asset hierarchy. We are establishing that unified namespace, whether it's programming or whether it's ad inventory, et cetera, a unified namespace. Then we have the data modeling. So based off of that asset hierarchy, how are we going to model the data? Now we have different modules within Data Suite known as like Data Explorer, Time Series Explorer. I'll kind of give you a preview of those. But ultimately, we are creating an effective knowledge graph that gives you an amazing 10,000-foot overview of how to better view that data, but then also how to optimize that data in different ways. And I'll kind of walk you through some of that. And then at the very end, what are the results of all of that contextualization? What are the results of all of that data modeling? So I'll show you how you can set up your own dashboards. We can look at, how flexible the reporting can be, both when creating it yourself or also potentially having AI do it for you. So again, this is more of a partnership when we go into these sorts of conversations, because we understand your business. We want to get you up and running and give you a boost, and then work with your data teams to make the best data products possible that will help your enterprise overall, right? And then again, talking about data governance after everything is said and done, making sure you can monitor things effectively. And then again, enabling all of those different use cases and applications. So whether, again, viewer engagement, ad measurement, revenue analysis, programming and scheduling, these are very broad topics and very broad use cases. This demo is going to be pretty high level, but I just want to get your gears turning about what is possible with NVIDIA DataOps Suite. All right, I'm going to go ahead and exit. Pardon me. Come over here. All right, let me get this bar out of the way. Can I do that? I can. Awesome. How are we doing on time? We're about halfway through. Perfect. Okay, so I want to spend the next, about 15 minutes or so, and I still want to open it up to questions, is, talking about that flow, right? So if you notice, and I'll just kind of bring it back over here for reference, why not? We're talking about data orchestration, data contextualization, data modeling, data insights, right? That's the concepts we're talking about today. Well, if you notice, at the heart of DataOps Suite in this demo environment, it's broken up in that very same flow. Going left to right, we have our orchestration modules. We have our contextualization modules. We have our data modeling modules that we are now enhancing with AI. And then we'll also have our insights modules. We have our predictive asset intelligence down here at the bottom. And then, of course, we have our user access. We have the ability to grab API docs, user guides, tutorials, release notes. It's all very, very modern, very quick in how we can get this set up. What I always say at this phase when you're looking at this is that this is a low-code, no-code solution for data scientists to just infinitely expand your views of your data in again, like a holistic way. So when we're talking about data sources, I mentioned that we work with over 2,000 data sources that are pre-built, but we also we're very nimble in the fact that we can accept data from anywhere. We're establishing data transformation, or we're establishing those data pipelines, and then we're applying the proper calculations, data transformation methods that are necessary for your solutions, right? When we're getting into the contextualization, this is where I want to kind of pause and talk about, unified data models, unified namespaces, asset hierarchies, right? So if we go into the unified data model space, this brings us into our unified data management screen, or kind of module or subscreen. And I want to give you a preview of what we did prior to this demo just kind of talking about, taking a wide swath of how we could potentially approach this with media-focused data. So we have our asset hierarchy that lays out how we are approaching movies. It's broken out by genre. We can apply different asset values to each and every listing that you see in this asset hierarchy. Those asset values can have various different metrics or thresholds baked into those different listings. You can see how we organize music. And then again, very high level, but then also when it comes to TV series and shows, we have a couple different series titles, the series itself, the different seasons within it, and then you see that we have a sampling of different programming, and like the season 1, episode 1, for example. So just to kind of start at the very, very basic level, that's your skeleton, that's your source of truth, right? Taking a step back when we're talking about asset hierarchies, once you establish that, then you have your unified namespace, and then you could just start assigning those thresholds I mentioned. So asset and process definitions, meaning that you can say, all right, I want this asset to perform at this level based off revenue or engagement or performance or reconciliation. All of those can be customized on the back end at the individual asset level, right? Once you have all of that established, the next phase is to start establishing your own custom data models. Maybe you want to establish data models that are very much focused on revenue generation. Maybe you are a CRO at a company and you have very specific goals in mind that have been handed down by the CEO. Well, you can set up or have your team of data scientists set up a data model that will actually use those metrics that were handed down as the source of your data model and enhance it with AI as well. So when we load that in, just kind of going from a basic or kind of a granular approach, when we're talking about looking at the data and viewing at the data in various different ways, that can also influence how we create those data models. So for example, like a time series explorer, what this really is, it's a multi-channel view. And I already went ahead prior to this demo and brought up a sample report. What I did is I brought in 12 Angry Men's Amazon ad revenue data stream, or channel is what we're referring to it as. And then I brought in 12 Angry Men's Amazon minutes viewed channel. Now, again, this is fake data. You can see it's pretty scattered here. But what you can see is you can layer it in various different ways. You can view it in various different ways. And with the time series, you can view it in a very much granular way. You can get it down to the 24-hour level and really start drilling into how this can be viewed, how this can be optimized, just at a very top-down level. Taking it a step further, if we look at Data Explorer, this is a little bit more open-ended. So time series is just very much like looking at the data over time. With Data Explorer, you can look at data in various different ways. You can look at it by image, by tabular data. In this example, I'm going to do time series again, but I want to show you the flexibility. Instead of looking at the data in like a very ultra granular way, we do the same sort of use case, 12 Angry Men, Amazon ad revenue, Amazon minutes viewed. You can see the chart, kind of similar to what I showed you before, but you can break it down into histograms, correlation graphs, box pilots, or in this example, a line chart, so you can separate that out and do a contrast and compare. So again, this is we're getting a little bit more granular, a little bit more advanced as we go along. And then finally, and this is what I really want to focus on in this conversation, is these knowledge graphs. That's the foundation of how Eureka Gen AI works. Darren already mentioned about that intelligent data layer and establishing those knowledge graphs. So again, trying to bring it back home and really reinforce the fact that this is our secret sauce in a way, right? Well, because what we are doing is we're providing connected intelligence across multiple different channels, different streams. For example, this is my made up AB or random letter streaming programming, right? And what you can see here is the data that we had set up in that asset hierarchy. Again, is very, very high level, but it gives you a sense of how it's mapped out from the top-down view. I kind of consider this the 10,000-foot view. And for example, if we look at the branch of series and shows, we can look at the individual titles. Well, when we click on the titles, or maybe even series and shows, Any of these modules you click on, you'll see this detail screen comes up. And what this has is a health score, which is based off of any of those metrics or thresholds that you set up at the asset level. So just to kind of paint a picture is we're gradually getting more and more robust data here. We've assigned the different thresholds at the asset level, maybe revenue goals, KPI goals, whatever it is. That health score is directly correlated to those thresholds. So I really want to make sure that that is understood because you have this 10,000 foot view, talking about that holistic approach that I mentioned, you can see at a very top level, okay, how are all my movies performing? You can see that health score based off of the combined thresholds of all the assets contained within. How are my series and shows performing? What are the documents or what are the agreements that are associated with this business, right? Taking it a step further down into the individual titles, we can drill down into, let me go down here, move it here. So now the individual titles, we can see, all right, based off of overall, look at Arrested on Development, what portion of that health score is there, looking at the different agreements associated with Arrested on Development. We can drill down even further, go down into the individual season level. Overall, how is Arrested on Development Season 3 performing? Sorry, my wheel is going crazy. Arrested on Development is performing at the season level. Drill down even further, and I think you can catch my drift. This is a very, very organic way to view your data. Instead of just looking at it in like an asset hierarchy, just looking at it in a list, this is a way that you can really start getting a better sense of how things are performing. I kind of call this an optimization hub, but really this is just for you to get a better understanding that you probably didn't even realize, right? This is when the data scientists get their gears turning, right? So taking a pause, when we're talking about knowledge graphs, those directly impact the AI that's going to be used when creating your own dashboards, when creating your own reports, when creating your own alerts. You can set up alerts based off of various different trends or health ratings. So like, let's say something is unperforming, or let's say a agreement is about to expire. You can get alerts that are generated via AI based off of this assets and associated knowledge graphs and the different data models that they are associated with. So again, this is all foundational stuff, but when we get to the end of the day and kind of the grand finale of all this, we'll go back to the main screen, take a drink of water as well. We are enabling, AI tool sets. We have this module called ML Studio, right? And I'll just show a quick preview of it, where you can deploy your own data models. You can look at your own AIs. You can look at your APIs and how they're performing. Literally innovate with AI. So this is a robust tool set. We'll maybe look at that at a different time. But I really wanted to start with the bedrock of understanding the foundations of this and how you could potentially leverage AI in the future, right? That's the whole purpose of this conversation. And then, again, I mentioned that grand finale, getting into your insights, getting into your predictive asset intelligence. We have different ways of creating custom dashboards. I'll just give you a preview of one that we created just right before this demo. Right before this webinar, right? So we just wanted to do a simple platform comparison between 12 Angry Men and Casablanca based off of ad revenue. And you can still, slice and dice that data however you see fit. You can adjust the widgets involved. Because these are really widgets, you can create your own views based off of persona. All of this is very flexible, right? Again, you can go into by just scrolling in and out. With these widgets, they're very dynamic in the way that you can start drilling into your data and start understanding it at a very granular level. You can also view it in various different ways. You have, the ability to look at things via like a scatter plot, for example, or a line trend, or both. Again, this is just a very basic example, but I just wanted to show you, what is potentially possible. You could always come in and start creating your own reports very easily. Just wanted to give you some examples just for brevity. And then when we're talking about, performance advisories and then alerts and tasks and then health score, those alerts and tasks, like I mentioned, can be generated via health score or whatever trigger you see fit within DataOps suite. If we take another look at what health score means, and this is a more expanded view of what I showed you. So if we take a look at our fake streamer here, we'll look at our overall series and shows. Oh, I went a little too far. Oh, because I mapped it to predictive asset intelligence. So one thing that's interesting is predictive asset intelligence and health score are very much tied together, because it's going to use the health score to predict performance later on, right? So at a very high level, our streamer here, we have an overall health score based off of revenue and ad revenue or in performance of 67%. Now this score trend is pretty flat just because the data is a little bit more all over the place in this demo, but then you can see what has critical importance when it comes to those assets. What sort of data points are critical? What needs to be addressed? What alerts are going off? What KPIs are being met? What KPIs are not being met? This is a really awesome, what I refer to as maybe like a morning cup of coffee report, where you can see exactly how your data is performing in real time via these health scores and metrics. And we can drill down even further if we want. So at an overall level, there's that health score. We can see, that's weird. We can go into movies. We can see overall how are your movies performing as compared to your TV series is performing. So again, these are all very basic examples, very high level. Would love to discuss other use cases with you at a later date. But at the same time, I want to establish this sort of general understanding of how AI could potentially impact your data needs, right? And then again, when it comes to being able to look at it from a system level, we also have live system monitoring. We also have user access management, so it's all very secure. And then we have an audit trail. We have centralized logging. One thing I really want to emphasize as well is that we are fully enterprise level compliant. One of the things that I always hear in the industry, especially talking to some of the bigger players out there, is the importance of data security. That's something I always pause to address, because it's something that is very top of mind with SymphonyAI and especially the media division, because we know how important things like SOC compliance, ISO compliance can be. And so it is at that level. It's a fully enterprise compliant data platform. And also, because we are helping you with that data normalization, potentially with NVIDIA Content Suite, we are helping you establish that single source of truth and keeping it ultimately secure every single step of the way. So we're at about the 15-minute mark prior to this. I wanted to open it up for any questions, comments. Darren, I also wanted to just kind of bring it back to you to just kind of wrap us up with any final thoughts.
Sure.
Let me exit out here. Bring the deck back up. So Darren, do you want to just kind of close us out here?
Yeah, it looks like we had one question from Ross that came up. Are we able to use external LLMs like OpenAI? And if so, are they able to train on our data? We can pull in external LLMs for the purpose of insight generation, but in terms of, do we share our customers' data back out to the open models so that other customers could potentially access it? The answer is no. It's all contained within our proprietary NVIDIA LLMs. So to reiterate what Cory mentioned, data isolation, data segregation is very important to us. We go to great lengths to ensure that our customers only are able to access their own data. They can't get access to other customers' data and vice versa. But we're still able to kind of use the power of some of these larger models in the market to help generate insights for your particular data.
Hey, Cory. Hey, Darren.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, guys, for a fantastic presentation and demo. Interesting look at some great helpful applications that will save time and money, and with the backing of highly nuanced and sophisticated business insights. So a great presentation. Really enjoyed it. A couple things that I took away from this were some of the customer case studies. The first one that I really liked was the first case study where 12 separate reports were consolidated for your customer. That in itself shows how much time this application can save. Also very fascinating to see all the capabilities of the DataOps suite and how granular it can get, but you also tie it back with knowledge graphs and provide the insights in a manner that is easy to understand and communicate with decision makers. So very cool. Do you also have a couple of other follow-up questions that I wanted to bring up to you guys? We here at OTT.X, we serve large enterprises as well as smaller players. We're very egalitarian. So if my organization is relatively small, would the NVIDIA DataOps be scalable or descalable? I don't know what the right pronunciation of that question would be, but for smaller organizations versus a large enterprise.
I guess I could take that. Yeah, well, that's the whole point of DataOps is we wanted something that was ultra scalable, is what we're saying, because we can set it up within a matter of months, especially if you have a team of data scientists that are chomping at the bit to get this set up and work with us. We can get you up and running very, very quickly. So that's on the DataOps side. If you're not interested or you do not have a team of data scientists and you're just looking about revenue and engagement performance, we also have Content Suite that we can get set up for you quickly as well.
Fantastic. And let's say we've agreed to, we're going to go on ahead with these programs. So how much effort is actually required to get up and running with low code, no code solutions like NVIDIA?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. And, when we're talking about DataOps suite, right, we always emphasize the fact that, it really does help if you do have a team of data scientists on staff. Typically, that's an internal initiative at enterprise level companies. They have, an internal AI initiative. So especially if they have data scientists and an AI initiative, man, this is a perfect product for them. But as far as the lift, right, we always emphasize the fact that once we work with you and establish that bedrock, that foundation, like I mentioned, we have AI that can programmatically set a lot of the different parameters for you on your behalf. Once it starts understanding your business, it can start actually taking some of that lift away from you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. And final question here. I'm sure the NVIDIA DataOps suite and the Content Suite play together nice, but are there any advantages for customers to have both?
Darren, do you want to take that?
Yeah, the answer is yes, of course. The first impact, it cuts down on the onboarding and ramp up time for DataOps Suite, knowing that we have this predefined data connector into a tool and system that we use already and have configured to the right exact parameters. So absolutely, there are some benefits for kind of time to market, time to investment, time to insights. All of those gets reduced when you're using both sides of the platform there. Beyond that, it's ease of use in general, right? Like we've seen some significant impacts to staffing and level of effort on our customers because we start to see some great overlap between the tool sets and the people that are using both sides of the equation, right? It's not to say that your data analysts or engineers can become data scientists overnight, but we do see folks who typically may not have played a role on the insights side of the business, start to play some of that role using some of the AI tools that Cory mentioned, using some of the pre-built models that we've already customized and tailored for the media industry. So in general, we see just the overall reduction of level of effort across your organization when both of these things kind of come together. So yeah, that's probably a good point to wrap up. But certainly, we want to also thank Jose and the OTT.X team for hosting us today. We encourage you to use the QR code here on the screen. Definitely will get you some more information about the platform, some more stuff to follow up on after this. And if there are any specific questions, Cory's info, my info is up on the screen. Feel free to reach out to us directly, and we'll make sure that you get connected to the right folks.
Absolutely. Thank you, gentlemen, so much, Cory and Darren. Thank you. Like they mentioned, their information is right here on the screen, or please feel free to reach out to the OTT.X team, and we'd be happy to facilitate that introduction. Thank you, gentlemen. Once again, that was a great session. We want to remind you that this session was recorded and will be available to view on demand on the OTT.X website. And finally, the OTT.X Webinar series returns next week on May 14th with a special webinar focused on eventizing a concluded series in the streaming space. We will be exploring how Shout TV brought some of its legacy IP to life with the curated marathon, exclusive content, and fan engagement on Fast. You can learn more about these sessions and all upcoming OTT.X events and initiatives at OTT.X.org. We hope you will join us next time, and we thank you for being here today. Cory and Darren, thank you so much. Take care and have a great day.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Jose.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.